Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about the gap between the rich and poor. This problem is always being considered worldwide. Also, this problem is serious because it has influenced people's daily life. In the article, the wealth gap between the rich and poor is the wildest ever recorded. It says, the wealth disparity between upper and middle income Americans has hit the record high. According to the new Pew Research Center report, on average, today's upper-income families are almost 7 times wealthier than middle-income ones, compared to 3.4 times wealthier in 1984. When compared to lower-income family wealth, upper-income family wealth is 70 times larger. In the article states with wildest gap between rich and poor, it says, which for the wealthiest 1% of Americans more than doubled between 1979 and 2011, which for the median U.S. worker, by contrast, increased just 6% over that period. In the quote national wealth, 3.1 of income earned annually goes to the poorest 20% of people, while 51.4 is earned by the richest 20%. Incomes are even more concentrated in the states with the highest income inequality. In New York and Connecticut, the first and second worst states for income distribution, more than 1/4 of all income was held by the richest 5% of state households. Long time ago, there were lots of peasants, which considered the poor people in China, and they had to plant the food for the landlords, which considered as the rich people. The landlords not only enjoyed the food without any labor, but also bullied the peasants. At that time, even the peasants were poor, but at least they won't starve to die. But the gap between the rich and poor are getting bigger, and some poor people live in the village in China nowadays starved to die. And also, lots of poor children do not have the opportunity to go to the school because their family cannot afford the tuition fees. So the child in the village cannot get good education, even they deserve to go to school. But let's look at the other side, the rich people. The rich people were always enjoying their life and like to travel around the world. Also, the rich kids can choose which school they want to go to. But the poor kids cannot even have the chance to go to school. The rich people are chasing the fashion trend and buying those expensive clothes. But the poor people even cannot have the warm clothes to help them to spend the winter. The gap between the rich and poor are too big, and it is even getting bigger. And this is not good for the country's development. Related to our life nowadays, the gap between rich and poor is obvious, and this problem is serious and nationwide. As we can see in the chart, the income of people at the bottom is much lower than the people at the top. In the second chart, the rich people are getting richer, but the poor people are getting poorer. If we leave the problem like this, our country will become terrible. The rich people will try to control the poor people. Maybe they will use the poor people as slaves. Finally, the poor people will rebel one day. The whole world will fall into the chaos. Also, there are lots of rich people look down the poor people, even unrespect them. If we leave the gap between rich and poor, even let it grow, our country may become inhumanist. Wealth inequality had always been in people's attention in America. If the government does not spend the effort to help the poor people and just leave the problem like this, the gap of wealth will continue to expand. The poor people will try to rebel one day, but they will fail undisputed because they have nothing to go against the richest. Ultimately, the society will be ruled by the richest and the poor will become their slaves. Throughout the context, we can see that if we leave the problem between the rich and poor like this, the world will become terrible. The gap between the rich and poor are getting bigger as a warning for the government. So the government should not just don't care about this problem. Instead of that, they should pay attention to this warning. The government should use the money on build up the school for people who live in the poor village. Also create more job opportunities for those people and encourage them to go to work. Then the poor people can have the opportunity to get educated and also get good jobs. So this will lead them to become not as poor as before. Maybe they can become rich. Then the gap between the rich and poor won't be increased but decreased. The government also should encourage the rich people to help the poor people, such as donate money. So I am here to urge the government that they should pay attention to the gap between rich and poor so they can give people a better and happier life. Thank you for watching my video. If you like it, please give a thumbs up. I will see you next time. According to the new Pew Research, in the article states with wildest gap. Thank you for watching my video. If you like it, please. Thank you for watching my video.